Hey, what's going on, guys? So happy Valentine's Day to everyone watching, single or in a relationship. It's a little more fun when you're in a relationship. Valentine's Day tends to be a kind of depressing day for single folk. At least the people not about that single life. Some people love it. They love being single and that whole thing, but there's plenty of people who don't. Plenty of people who like to have, someone, a significant other. But anyway, I'm here to tell you don't be depressed. Just another day. Forget about it. But I'm also here to tell you some stories. This is kind of a story time video about Valentine's Day. I'm going to tell you about all my experiences with Valentine's Days over the years, good and bad, and just kind of ramble. I'm just sitting here talking. I post my video for today. As if you don't know, I like to post a video every single day. And today's video is on the Battle Box update, just talking about your comments and stuff and the gear. And I already saw people commenting, Happy Valentine's Day. So it just kind of popped in my head, you know what, I should do a video on Valentine's Day and do a story time. And I was going to do it outside, but it is cold, and I don't want to sit in the cold. So I'm here randomly in my living room in front of a painting. So, yeah, different scenery, I suppose. So Valentine's Day. Growing up, watching my parents, every Valentine's Day. Over the years, it changed a little bit. Sometimes my dad would like to surprise my mom, with different things. And my mom was a very practical woman, and although I think most women and some guys, you enjoy flowers and candy and all that kind of stuff on Valentine's Day, she was practical. She didn't want to waste the money, although she appreciated flowers and when my dad's gotten her flowers, she never liked the idea of wasting the money because that's what she saw. She saw, okay, it's kind of nice for a couple days, cut flowers, die, and then that's it, So practical woman, and at some point, they both agreed that they don't really exchange, at different holidays just to save money. They do things for each other all the time anyway. They don't need these special moments where they do extra stuff, And then, of course, when they had me and my sister, having kids, it's a little bit different too. They focused on their kids. Any kind of extra money they had, they tried to get stuff for us, which was very cool. Good parenting type thing there. They weren't being selfish. It was always about the kids, And that's what I saw growing up. I saw my mom and dad love each other to death, but they weren't very into presents and stuff. They're practical. But every Valentine's Day, from as long as I can remember, my mom would always get me and my sister a little box of chocolates or something. Just like Easter, same thing. Doesn't matter how old we got. She always liked doing that. It was a fun little thing to do for her kids. So I always got chocolates on Valentine's Day, but it was for my mom. I know. Totally fine when I was 9, 10 years old. When I was 19 and 20, a little sad. For me, anyway. It was fun, but I don't have that significant other. I'm, getting a box of chocolates, being in your early 20s from your mom. It's like kind of whatever. But thank you, Mom. I appreciate you always cheering me up. That was always nice. I always look forward to that. But yeah, I remember back in like 5th and 6th grade when a lot of the boys and girls, hormones were kicking in and people were starting to have crushes and stuff like that. And that's when, we're going steady and Valentine's Day and all that kind of stuff. And it was a big deal then too. And, who would give you a little box of hearts, which I'm sure they still do now, the classic, Be Mine, all those crappy chalky candy, which I never liked, but still, I wanted to get a box from a cute girl. And I remember back in I think it was 6th grade, there was this girl, Crystal. I'm not going to say her last name. And we were dating, 6th grade dating. I'm not going to get, I'm not going to get into details about stuff, but for the most part, just holding hands and saying we're dating, maybe a little kissing, pretty innocent. There was definitely some not so innocent 6th graders back then when I was in school, but we had little puppy love, nothing crazy, nothing to worry about. And that was really exciting. That was my first kind of experience having a lovey type Valentine's Day, But those relationships back then, they lasted days, if not, weeks at most. There was very, very few people that dated back then more than a month. It was just quick little nothings. Never meant anything, it just kind of made you feel special. But I remember that was the first time I felt special on a Valentine's Day, was when I was dating Crystal. And giving her a little kiss and getting the little, chalky, crappy candy. And then I think we broke up 2 days later or something ridiculous. So now fast forward, all through high school, Didn't date, didn't have, girlfriend during Valentine's Day, so those are all lonely days. In my later years, I dated a little bit, but it never corresponded with Valentine's Day. I was always alone on Valentine's Day. It wasn't until I met Christina, my now wife, that I was actually in a relationship on Valentine's Day since 6th grade. So that was very nice. And obviously, in the beginning, when you're dating, if you have not experienced this yet, there's that puppy love stage when you first meet someone and you're like together and you both agree you love each other, and you get that big step of I love you and all that kind of stuff. It's like best relationship ever. Everything's new, everything's amazing. The other person can't do wrong, and this is kind of funny just in general, just how relationships go. In the beginning, it is perfect. Everything they do is like super cute. Fast forward 20 years being married, you're like, everything, all those cute things they were doing, super annoying now, right? But, you still love the person. It's a different type of love, When it's new, that's what it is. It's new. And you don't really know, like you might think you love them, but as time goes on, and especially when you live with someone, then you know what love really is, truly. But this is not really a vlog of telling people what love is. Love's different from everyone. This is just my opinion on things. Like right now, I love my wife to death, and the dumbest things that you would think of, I think are cute that she would do. You know what I mean? It's just dumb stuff. That's true love. I truly feel that's what love is about someone doing something, even when you're annoyed at them, even when you're like super mad at them, you still love them. It's hard to explain if you haven't experienced that. Younger Jeff, I thought I was in love. There were 2 different women that I truly thought I was in love with. And the second one more than the first one, but neither one, once I met Christina and we spent time together, especially when she moved in and we started living together, then I truly knew that those other, loving moments were not the same. It wasn't the same. I don't think true love until you really experience it, and then you look back and I don't know if you compare it to like food or something. For most people, again, everyone's different, but let's say you have a McDonald's cheeseburger. And you're like, oh, that's good, whatever. And then you have like a nice cheeseburger from a diner. You're like, oh, well, this is much better. I thought the McDonald's cheeseburger was good, but no, this homemade burger, this is good. And then you have like some gourmet burger and you're like, well, no, I thought this was good. Like, you don't know it until you experience it. If you don't have a comparison, it's hard to really understand it. And the same thing with love. There's a lot of people who think they're in love, especially when you're younger. Everything's new. You're like, wow, oh man, I'm in love with this girl. And then she breaks your heart and you're like, I don't know what I was thinking, But anyway, so my first Valentine's Day with Christina was amazing, and we did the whole thing and the gifts and the stuffed animals and chocolates and all that kind of stuff, the traditional money spending Valentine's Day. And Valentine's Day is extremely corporate. Like you go to the stores and every holiday, it's like the same crappy candy in a different wrapper, ooh, the Reese's heart. Oh, it's Valentine's Day, I gotta get a Reese's heart. Okay, well, you just had the Reese's egg, from Easter, and then the Reese's bat from Halloween, and the Reese's tree from Christmas. It's the same candy, it's just a different wrapper. But it's just, I don't know, it's just there's so much commercialized, it's kind of annoying. Getting older and being in a relationship for a while now, it makes me think of things like that. You know what I mean? At first, it's like, oh yeah, I gotta get this and this, and she's gonna love this, and we're practical now. Being married for a couple of years, it's like, we get it. I do stuff like that for her all the time anyway. Like, I'm gonna cook her a nice dinner tonight for Valentine's Day, but I've cooked her dinner before. I'm gonna cook her dinner again, not on Valentine's Day, so it's not like we're doing anything extra special. We were gonna go out. There's a place, if you're somewhat local, in Honesdale, Pennsylvania. It's a new brewery that opened up, and I can't think of the name of it. I want to say Now and Later. No, that's the candy. Now and Then, I think, maybe. I don't know. You can look it up. Brewery in Honesdale. They had, I saw it in the news. I was, every single morning, not that you need to know, but I take a crap. Well, everyone takes craps, right? It's not a surprise. But in the morning, I have a routine like some people. And while I'm doing my business, I will, look on my phone. I'll look at the news for the day. I'll look at the weather, stuff like that. I'll check Instagram. I'll check some comments on YouTube. And I saw a news story on this brewery, and it's a brew pub with a restaurant. The restaurant's supposed to be really, really good. So although I love beer, I didn't want to go there for the beer. I actually wasn't even planning on getting any. I just wanted to try their food. I wanted to have a nice little dinner. It's supposed to be kind of a rustic, I think it was an old department store or something, so the entire basement is their brewery, and they have a bunch of beers on tap. But the upstairs is the restaurant. It's like kind of rustic. From the pictures I saw, it looks kind of like a warehouse type dealio, you know. It's like one of those new age restaurants. You know, it's like half concrete, half brick. Cool to look crappy. I don't know. It's hard to explain that, but anyway, they're famous for their duck fat fries, which sound amazing. They are completely not dietetic at all, but they're like double battered, double fried French fries, and then they have like a vat of melted duck fat that's seasoned, and they sprinkle it on there and toss the fries in it. Jeez, that sounds good. And then they have these specialty pizzas. The one pizza, I forget what they call it, but the Grouch, I think, something like that. It has like 40 toppings. It's ridiculous. Every topping's like gourmet. It's like cremini mushroom, goat cheese, you know, lumps, and then there's this kind of special cheese, and then there's seasoned taco meat, and then there's like fennel sausage and pulled pork that they, you know, smoke there for 15 hours. Like all this crap, all this gourmet crap. Actually sounded like there's too much on top of the pizza. But some of the other things sounded good. They have like specialty gourmet salads and things like that. I don't even know why I'm telling you about this restaurant. But yeah, that's where I was going to go. And I called them yesterday to see if I can get a reservation because I figured it would be busy. Valentine's Day is like the worst day to go eat out because everyone eats out on Valentine's Day. And they're closed. They're only open Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. But now that it sounds good, if you ever are in Honesdale, you should check it out. I will check it out myself someday. But yeah, so we decided together that I'll cook a dinner. You know, I used to make coq au vin, which is like a stewed chicken. I think it's French, and originally it's with rooster meat. But anyway, it's like you know, I use chicken thighs and drumsticks, and it's like kind of stewed in wine, and there's a little bit of bacon in there, and onions and mushrooms, and you know, some fresh thyme, and it's a little chicken stock. It's like a long, you know, long stewed thing. It's kind of involved. It's not hard to do, but there's a bunch of ingredients. It's a little bit of a pain. You know, it's not like, you know, making a grilled cheese sandwich. But I made that for her when we were dating, and she loved it, and we haven't made it in years. So that's what I'm going to make today for her. But yeah, I don't even know why I was talking about that. I lost my train of thought. Valentine's Day. So yeah, obviously being married or just being in a relationship, it's more fun than being single. But you shouldn't, if you are single, you shouldn't be depressed about it. You know, it's whatever. Today's just another day. You know what I mean? Why would today matter anymore? You know, people get a lot of depression around the holidays, especially when they're alone, you know, or things like that. It's just, but I'm here to remind you that it's no different. Today's no different than yesterday or tomorrow. If you're single and you don't want to be single, there are definitely things you could do. You have to go out there and be yourself. You know, I'm not by far not a dating guru, but I will tell you what worked for me. I was very shy all throughout my teenage years and stuff. I was the funny guy. You know, I was a funny guy in school, and I never had the confidence to ask girls out. I always thought, like, if I asked a girl out, there's a possibility of her saying no. So if I never ask anyone out, I won't get rejected. I regret it, but I also don't, because everything I've done in my life, good and bad, has led me to where I am, you know, and who knows, maybe if I asked some girl out in high school that I liked, I wouldn't be with my now wife, who I love. So life has a weird way of doing stuff like that. At least I believe in that. Somewhat of a fate, I guess, maybe. But yeah, I mean, you have to put yourself out there. When I met my wife met me. If you guys don't know the story, I'll tell you real quick. She loves YouTube stuff. She watches all kinds of videos, all kinds of random stuff. And she got a knife, and she wanted to know a little bit more about the knife, and she found one of my videos. Watched it, thought nothing of it, whatever. Just, okay, this guy's got some good information. Self-promoting. Anyway, and then she looked up something else. I think it was a Zippo. She needed to fix a Zippo lighter or something, and boom, there I was again. What do you know? Man of many a variety show. And then there was something else. It was a third video, and she saw me again. She's like, what does this guy do, everything? And she sent a message to say like, oh, thanks for the videos, it helped. And I'm not a bold guy. Like I don't put myself out there, especially with women. And this was at the time I was in a relationship with a girl in Florida, wonderful girl, but just not for each other. You know, we had a long distance relationship for a long time. I spent a lot of money. I actually went to Florida to spend time with her to see if it was something that was going to work. You know, it's like, okay, well, it works on the phone, it works on Skype at the time, and all that. That's all working, but how about in person? Do we have that chemistry? And when I got there in person, had an amazing time with her, but the chemistry wasn't there. You know what I mean? So, okay, that's fine. So I'm kind of getting over a relationship, and when she sent me this message, I was flirtatious, and I don't do that ever. It was like a weird thing. I feel like it was kind of meant to happen, and I get so many messages every single day, and I don't get to read them all, and so like it's also kind of cool that I happened to see her message, because who knows, if I never saw it, obviously I wouldn't know her. I wouldn't have started that conversation, relationship, all that kind of stuff. So she sent a message to me and said, oh, thanks for the information stuff. And I'm like, oh, thanks. And for some reason, I never normally would have done this, but I saw her little thumbnail picture and I thought she was cute as hell. And I typed back, I'm like, this is going to sound strange, but I think you're adorable in your picture. I said, you wouldn't happen to be single, would you? And she wrote back well, actually I am. She's like, oh, thanks for the compliment, And we just started talking. That was it. It was a little flirty moment. I threw it out there like, hey, why not? And found out she lived in Connecticut. It wasn't close. It was about a 3-hour drive, but it was a pretty straight shot. Started talking back and forth. Got on Skype and started Skyping each other and Uvu or whatever it was. All those different video things, and we hit it off. And we had a lot of stuff in common. And I liked her, and I was all giddy and happy, and I wanted to see if it was going to work out. Especially after this experience with this other girl, I got to see you. I don't want to do this year-long over the phone, over Skype thing. That's fun or whatever, but I want to know if it was serious. Is this going to be a fun thing? Is this a friend, or is this really something that can go somewhere? And so I got on it right away. I'm like, let's go out. Let's go out for a date. And so I did. I took the trip down there, and I remember sitting in front of her house, and when she came out, I thought, oh wow, she's just as gorgeous as she was in her pictures and stuff, and talking around the thing, and I was very pleasantly surprised. And she got in the car, and I'll tell you about our first date. We went to a Barnes & Noble, and it's funny because it's exciting for me, telling this story, because I'm remembering everything and just thinking about it and stuff. I love her to death. I totally in love years later now, just as much as in the beginning. And I will say, to be honest, I'm not in love with someone at first. I liked her. I was very attracted to her, but I also liked her personality. But it was like, after a couple months of being with her where I really felt what love was. You know what I mean? It wasn't like this fake, like, oh, you're cool. Yeah, of course, if you're attracted to someone and you hit it off and you're kind of friendly, that doesn't mean you're in love. It was months later that I had this moment with her, and I thought, oh my God, I love this girl. You can like a lot of people. You could take 10 random girls and you could probably feel like you're in love with 3 or 4 of them, you kind of click together and all that, and you want to sleep with them or whatever the case is, and you're like, oh, I love it. There was definitely a definitive moment where it really hit me. It hit me like, I really love this girl. I love her. It was a really cool moment. And that's when I said it too. That was because I wasn't like this schmo that you meet someone in the first day like, oh, I love you so much. No, it's not. It would be rare to really fall in love. They say love at first sight, attraction at first sight. Love takes time. And you have to really get to know someone a little bit before you can really love them, in my opinion. But anyway, back to our first date. So we're at Barnes & Noble, and we sat at the little cafe area, and we ordered some tea. And we sat down, and she asked if I played rummy. She brought a deck of cards. And she said, well, we could play some cards, kind of hang out and talk and stuff. And we played rummy. I didn't know how to play rummy. She taught me how to play, and it was horrible. And I'll never forget it. When I played rummy with her, she kicked my butt. She was relentless. And I thought it was so cool. And at some point, she said, wow, you suck at this. And I just thought that was the most amazing thing, because she wasn't there to impress me. She wasn't there to try to be someone she's not. She could have let me win. She could have won anyway and not said anything. But the fact she said, like, you suck at this, I thought that was the coolest thing in the world. It was honesty. It was real. It was amazing. It was an amazing experience for me. I never had that experience with a girl before, because a lot of times, like when you're dating, especially in the beginning, you're your best version of them. You're not burping and farting in front of them. You're not picking your nose. You don't smell. You didn't just wake up crusty eyes, and bad breath. You're primped. You are your best. And as time goes on, little things come up. Your little bad habits come up, that might turn that person off. And as time goes on, either it does or it doesn't. Some people break up. Why? Because the true person comes through. And especially when you live with someone. You could date someone for years, and people do. People are in relationships for many years. They move in, first week, there's no way this is working. Because you don't really know who someone is until you live with them. When you go to bed with them and you wake up with them, you spend all day with them, then you're not hiding any of your faults. And when you truly, truly love someone, you love their faults, And it goes both ways. That's the other thing too, is when I was in love with these other women, I was putting myself out there and I was not getting it back. And I felt the difference. I really felt the difference when Christina gave me love back. The way she held me, the way she kissed me, the way she looked at me, some of the things we said, how goofy we are together. I could be a total goofball. But she accepts it. Even if I have gross moments, or I do dumb stuff, I make mistakes, she accepts it. She'll make fun of me sometimes, and I love it. I love it that she's honest. She's not trying to impress me. She's being who she really is. She's truly just an honest person and just transparent, and it's wonderful. Oh my God, it's wonderful. Because with the other women, it's like beating around the bush. You don't really know who they are. You don't really know if they like you because they're reserved, and she never was. She put it all out there. This is who I am. You don't like it, move on. And I thought that was like the coolest thing in the world. And I feel extremely lucky to have met her. And even when I tell the story too, she always corrects me, because I'll say, oh, when I met Christina, she's like, no, I met you. Or when I found Christina, that's what I'll say. Oh, when I found Christina and we got together, and she's like, no, I found you. I contacted you. So it always makes me laugh too. Yeah, wow, it's weird because I'm almost getting choked up just talking about it. I love my wife very much, and my wife loves me, and it's an amazing feeling. And when Valentine's Day comes every year now, yeah, it's special because I am married and we have that relationship. But we're practical. At this point, we don't want to waste money. Money goes to bills and important things, and going out and buying some crazy present, it doesn't, it's not the same, I guess, when you're married. Or I guess if you're married and practical, I'll say that, because there's still plenty of married couples that go wild and they'll spend all kinds of money on each other. But yeah, I mean, it's fun. It's a nice day, but it's not a big deal. In our relationship, it's not a big deal. So anyway, these storytime videos, it's very much a mood thing. I'll have people ask me in messages like, hey, can you do a storytime video this week? And it's like, well, if I'm not in the mood or if I'm not thinking about something, it's not, I don't feel like doing it. But today's Valentine's Day, and I was thinking about my wife, and I was thinking about, when we're dating and stuff, and I want to do a video on it. Want to touch upon the subject. So I was in the mood. There's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And again, my advice to people out there who are single and kind of depressed today, don't be. It's silly. It's just another day. It's no different than yesterday or tomorrow or the day after. If you're single and you're not happy about being single, you got to work at it. You got to put yourself out there. But more importantly, you have to be yourself, because you're going to save a lot of time and heartache and probably a lot of money by being yourself in the beginning. That first date, be yourself. If that person accepts you for who you are, go on that second date. But if you're yourself and they don't like you, they never will like you. You know what I'm saying? You can't grow on someone. You have to be compatible. That's my opinion, of course. You could disagree with it, but that's my life experience, you know. And also, the big thing, too, is there's so many people out there with, like, a huge crush on someone. If you like someone so much, and you think they're your perfect person, but they don't give you the time of day, don't pursue that. Just forget about it, you know. I know it's hard to say that because crushes are sometimes they're not controllable. You think you're in love with someone, but they don't even notice you. It's just not worth your time, because who truly wants to be with someone who doesn't love them back as much as you love them? You know what I mean? Some people are in relationships like that, and vice versa. Like I was saying before, with not being yourself, there's people who are in relationships for years, and then one day they actually act like themselves, and they find out that their partner doesn't like them, and then boom, that's it, divorce and breakups and all that kind of stuff. So be yourself, be honest, and if you are looking for love, it's out there. There's a perfect someone for everyone. You have to put some work into it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's Day, and I'll see you guys soon. Take care.